Hello ladies and gentlemen, Mike here and welcome back to the Beginner's Guide, the tutorial series where I teach you how to get the most out of the Minecraft Lord of the Rings mod. As you guys probably know, there is a large update to this mod coming out very shortly, within a few short days to be exact. The problem is, however, if you have an existing world, an existing save that you spent tons of time on, you're not going to be able to experience a lot of that new content because when you visit those areas, Minecraft is simply going to be loading all the old content from your save file rather than generating all that great new stuff that you want to experience. Now there are basically two scenarios in this situation, so I'm going to separate this update special into two parts. Scenario 1 is going to assume that you'd like to start a brand new world. But maybe you've spent a lot of time building things in your old world or collecting items and you don't necessarily want to lose all that. You'd like to know how to export things from your old world and bring them into your new world. In scenario 2, I'm going to assume that you don't want to start a new world. You just like to find a way to reset certain parts of your world, certain parts of your save, so that the new content is generated when you visit those areas. But we're going to go with scenario 1 for now, so let's get started. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is you are going to download MCEdit. You're going to go to mcedit.net, and if you can't remember that, all the links will be in the description below. So you're going to go there, we're going to choose download here, and you're going to make sure you're downloading a release version, not a development version. 2.0 is still in alpha, and I wouldn't really trust it at this point not to screw up your world. So we're going to go with the old tried and true version. Click here to download MCEdit 1.0. It's actually 1.5, I think. Now you're going to choose either 32-bit or 64-bit depending on your system. I have a 64-bit system, so I'm going to choose this one. We are going to start downloading. Now I'm going to assume that you've already downloaded it because that's what I've done. And I'm going to double click here. I'm going to just hit extract. It's going to go straight to the desktop. And we are going to get a folder here called MCEdit. Now we're going to open our Minecraft launcher and we're going to go into our Lord of the Rings world here. The profile, and we're going to edit profile. We're going to open our game directory, and we are going to basically move the MCEdit folder directly into our game directory. It's not actually necessary, but I highly recommend doing it. It keeps everything neat and tidy, and trust me, it's the way you want to go, especially if you're not sure what you're doing. If you're experienced with MCEdit, then, feel free to do whatever you want. Alright, so the second thing we're going to do is go into our saves folder here, and before we start, I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you back up your save. Back it up multiple times. Make sure you do that, okay? I do not want to be responsible for anyone losing their world or something that they put hundreds of hours into because they didn't follow instructions. Back it up, okay? And it's very simple. All you got to do is copy your save folder and paste it somewhere else. That's it. You got to back up. And even after you think everything's totally fine, keep it for a few days. Make sure your world is all okay before you delete the backup, or keep it forever because you never know if something's going to go wrong. I actually tend to do this. I use WinRare and I just do that. It saves an archive in the folder itself, and that's another way to do it if you want to back up. I back up before every episode because I've corrupted my world multiple times, and trust me on this, it's possible, and it's very likely if you use MCEdit and you're not 100% sure what you're doing. Alright, now MCEdit is not sort of built to work with a mod like Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings Middle-earth actually is a different dimension, a separate dimension. It's not part of the vanilla game, and if you just load up MCEdit, it's not going to know how to find the dimension itself at all. So you're just going to go into the overworld and all your builds, everything else in Middle-earth are going to be missing. So you're going to go into your save folder here, and you're going to look for another folder called Middle-earth. This is your Middle-earth save. You're going to actually cut that. You are going to right-click and you're going to hit cut. You're going to go back into your save folder and you are going to paste it there. So we now have our original save and then we have our Middle-earth dimension in here. But we're not finished yet because this is just a dimension. Minecraft or MCEdit don't recognize this as a save. So we're going to go back into our Shangri-La here, or whatever the name of your world is. We're going to select level dat and we are going to copy that, not cut it. We're just going to copy it. Copy. We're going to go back into Middle-earth here and we're going to paste that. So now we have data, we have region, forest chunks, and level dat. That's how you want it to be. We're perfect. So we're going to go back into our game folder here. We're going to choose the MCEdit folder and we're going to open MCEdit. It's going to take a minute to load here. And we're going to maximize it. Now it's again telling you only open a world in one program at a time. I'm assuming you're not dumb enough to open Minecraft at the same time because you really don't want to. I have the launcher open here, but make sure your game is not loaded, okay? So we're gonna hit okay. We're gonna go to open here, and you'll notice it opens into our save folder. We're gonna choose Middle Earth, and we're gonna choose the level that we copied over a minute ago. We're gonna choose open, and there we go, our world is open. Now immediately you're gonna notice, wait a minute, what is all this pink stuff? Well, those pink blocks are basically blocks that MCEdit does not recognize. Because those are Lord of the Rings specific blocks, they're not part of the vanilla game, but it's not a big deal. MCEdit's just saying, I don't know what block that is, so I'm gonna make it pink. But when you load up your world, everything will be back to normal. Alright, so the first thing you're gonna notice too is that it's a little bit weird as far as navigation goes. So I'm gonna teach you how to move around. The WASD keys, you can move around back and forth, but you can't actually look around using the mouse. If you just move around using the mouse, you're selecting different blocks. You're not actually looking around. The way you want to move your viewpoint is to hold down the right mouse button, and then you can move around. You can also, while you're holding that down, you can use the shift keys to move up and down. You can also use the WASD keys to move yourself around. So that's what you do. That's how you do it. Now, basically, the premise of this tutorial is that you want to update your game to a new beta, say beta 29 or any future version, and you want to bring a building in there, but you want to create a new world. So maybe I say, you know what, I really want to bring this farm into my new world. I don't want to have this old world anymore. I want to create a new world, but I want the farm here because I spent a lot of time working on it. So that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to basically get a nice view of this farm here. We're going to let go of the mouse buttons. You'll notice here that I'm selecting blocks. Now, in order to select something, or an area in MCEdit, you have to use the left mouse button. So we're gonna sort of choose this block here, and we're gonna hold down the left button, and you're noticing here that I'm selecting a certain area. Now, it's not always that easy or that intuitive to sort of select areas. So we're gonna move around here, and you'll notice something as we're moving around. I missed a line here, so my block selection is not perfect. I missed part of the farm, and I wanna fix that. So we can just sort of align our view a little bit here. It's a little bit awkward again because I'm not great. I'm left-handed as well. So yeah, it's a little awkward. But okay, so now we've aligned this. Now what we can do is we can mouse over each side of this selection, and we can click the left mouse button and we can drag it in certain areas to make it bigger or smaller. We can adjust our selection basically using that. Now we can also, and I want to make it one more block higher in case you have extra blocks that are, above one block. You want to have that an extra, and I recommend actually going 1 or 2 blocks higher than your structure just to make sure you're good. Now, we've basically selected the entire farm, but there is one slight problem. If you remember in the past, I actually dug down below ground to plant some sand down there to make sure the farmers knew where to dig. So I'm going to go down 2 blocks here. So we now have a 4 block high selection. So we've selected 2 blocks above ground and 2 blocks below. See that? All right, so I think we're good. We have the structure we want to copy, and we're pretty much good to go. Now, if you look on the left side here, a menu has appeared, and this is your selection menu. And we are not going to worry with a lot of these things right now. We are going to choose export. All right, so this is going to allow us to save that structure to a file. We're going to call it farm, and we're going to click save. We're now going to hit deselect here. And basically we have saved that area to our own schematic file. Now, what you can do, there are multiple ways you can do this. You can basically copy that file anywhere you want. You can copy it into a new world. You can create a new world and follow the same process where you move your Middle Earth folder over and make it compatible with MCEdit. Go into that world and choose a location, and you can copy it right there. You can also copy it again into the same world. And that's what we're going to do just because I'd like to show you the process. I'm going to trust that you guys know how to create a new world, and I just showed you how to make that world compatible with MCEdit. So if you want to create a new world, you want to go into that and find a nice area to put your farm, that's great. I want to show you one other thing. You can go to the menu here in the top left, and you can choose Go To, which is actually Control G if you know the shortcut, and you can choose a location, and this is basically like the teleport command in vanilla Minecraft. So you could choose an XYZ coordinates, and you can click Go To, and that will take you to that area if you want to move around or you have multiple structures that you want to import or export. So I'm going to imagine that you're in your new world now, and you want to bring your farm back into that new world. Exciting times, right? Beta 29. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the import button here. We're going to click import. It will bring up a dialog, and you'll see that the farm schematic is here that we saved earlier. And when we click OK, that farm schematic is now in the world, and we can move around and we can select certain areas. Now what we're going to do, and the easiest way I recommend to do it, is actually to find sort of a viewpoint that you like. Hold down the right mouse button, and you can move around your selection. You can move it up or down or left or right, and basically just get it approximately where you want to go. You may be off a little bit, but get it approximate. Hold down, while you're still holding down the right mouse button, click the left button. That has now locked it into the world. Your selection is locked into the world. It's not saved yet, but it is locked. Now imagine you're kind of like, oh, you know what? I don't actually like that. I think I should move it over a little bit. I want to fine tune, my location. So we're going to look at the left menu here that has appeared and look for nudge. Now this is a little bit weird, but you're going to hold down your left mouse button and you're going to use the WASD keys to move your selection around. You can shift and space to move it up or down, or WASD to move it around. I'm actually pretty happy with the location. Maybe I'll put it right here. That looks good. And we're going to say okay there, and we're going to choose import. So when you're ready to go, hit import. Boom, there it is. Now it is now in the world, but you'll notice something else. Right here on the bottom, it says one unsaved edit, Control S to save. So you've imported into your world, but you haven't saved your world yet. Now you could import multiple farms, multiple items, you could do all kinds of stuff, and as long as you haven't saved, nothing will change within your world. But we're gonna hit Control S to save here. There we go, your world has now been saved. So your new structure is now imported, and we are gonna exit out of MCEdit. Our work here is done. Now, there is a little bit of extra work that we need to do to turn our save files here back into something that Minecraft understands. Because remember, we moved the Middle Earth dimension out and we did a bunch of weird stuff. So we're going to go back into our Middle Earth folder here. And basically we want to keep three things. We want to keep data, we want to keep region, and we want to keep force chunks. The rest of this stuff, player data, level dat, MCEdit this, session lock, it has to be deleted. So we're going to delete all that. We only want these three things. We're going to go back into our saves here. We're going to cut this thing, and we are going to paste it back into our original save. There we go. We're good. When we go back into our Shangri-La here, we'll notice Middle Earth is back. All these other things are gone, and we are ready to go. So we're going to load up Minecraft here and see how well that worked. Hopefully it worked. All right, so we are back. Now what we're going to do very quickly here is we are going to go into creative mode just to make things a little easier. We're going to allow cheats on, start a lang world, T. Can't type because my microphone's in the way, so again, excuse me. And we are going to move over here, and you'll notice this is our original farm, and this is our new structure. Now immediately you're going to notice a couple of weird things here. First of all, there's a bunch of black stuff around, which I'll get into in a minute, but you'll also notice that it actually copied our hobbits as well. So the farmers, the NPCs, have been copied as well. Now if we go into the chest here, our chest, the contents of our chests have been copied as well. Now, I will tell you guys that people have reported problems with chests with certain items. I don't know if they're true or not. It's always worked okay for me, but you never know. Some things might not work, some things might, especially in Lord of the Rings mod. So I would just recommend to be on the safe side, move everything out of your chest. You could always go and import everything and just check all your chests and make sure everything's good. But if you got thousands of items, you may not know if certain things are missing. I don't know. You can risk it or you can not risk it. It's up to you. Personally, I've risked it and I've never had a problem, but other people have reported problems. I would recommend, don't necessarily trust me that if you have things that are very, very valuable, take them with you or move them somewhere else before you do this. Also be aware that if you copy and import your NPCs into your new world, you may not be able to control them because you lack the required faction alignment to do so. Now these black things are actually a product of the lighting within Minecraft. When you import something using MCEdit, it doesn't necessarily fix all the lighting. And this, you can actually see this in vanilla Minecraft with new worlds and things, places you haven't been to, sometimes they're a little buggy. And MCEdit does have a function that allows you to relight the world, but it does not work well with Lord of the Rings. So I do not recommend using it. In fact, it makes things worse. And there are some very easy fixes. A lot of times this fixes itself as you wander around. Sometimes you can walk through certain areas and the lighting bugs will, see, like that, fix themselves. And they'll, new ones will crop up. As you wander around this area, things will sort of sort themselves out. But there's an easy way to kind of, if you're, especially you're in creative mode, just do this kind of thing. And you will, oh, wow, there's a rabbit there. You will fix up the lighting bugs as you move around. Now, some of them, and I gotta be honest, may reappear on and off. within the first few times you load up your game. You may have to do this multiple times. I know it's a bit of a pain, but I don't know any way to fix it. I've tried multiple different ways to fix it. If someone has a method that they use, I'd be happy to know what it is, but I don't know of any. Whoops. So anyway, yeah, this is basically what you want to do. Again, some things may be okay, some things may not be okay. And it really does depend on what you're doing, how complicated your structure is, and where you place it within the world. All right, so we have basically done it now. So our farm has been copied, and again, this is into the same world, but if you were doing this in a different world, you would now have a farm in your new world, and everything would be cool. Now, there are other situations where you may not want to lose all your alignment, all your progress. You may say, Mike, I don't want to, delete my entire world and start from scratch. I basically just want to reset certain areas of the world, and I want to be able to go in and experience new content without losing the other parts of the world that I don't want to destroy. And that's what we're going to be doing next, so stay tuned. As always, if you guys like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more. Take care, guys, and enjoy your time in Middle-earth.